Hey everybody, I'm Kyle Richards.
I'm Beau Stacy.
And this week we're going to talk about why we specialize in the trucking industry, and if you are a new business, how to kind of get started and what to look for when you're choosing your insurance agent.
We're excited to share all tips and tricks related to starting up your company and everything to expect as you enter that new venture realm.
So who is Marquis Insurance and why do we specialize in the trucking industry? It all started back in 2005 when Kevin Nolan founded Nolan Transportation Group. They're a top 10 brokerage now, but back then it was a smaller company geared towards service towards our customers, our carrier partners and everything. And shortly after that, around 2012, Kevin had an idea and saw an opportunity to get into the factoring industry. He saw that there was a lack of service for a lot of these small to mid-sized carriers working with their factoring companies. So Kevin started OTR Capital. OTR Capital is heavy in the factoring space and back office support for small to mid-sized trucking carriers. And with that, a couple years into their business, they saw a need to get into the insurance industry, kind of focusing on the same model of service to carriers and their partners and everything there. So from there, that's when Marquis Insurance started, and that's why we specialize in trucking. It's in our blood, it's in our DNA, and we're kind of rooted from it. So now you've applied for your motor carrier authority, and what do you do now? How do you choose your agent? Where do you get your insurance from? What coverages do I need? That's what we want to talk about. If you're newly starting your business or thinking about getting into the trucking industry and starting your business, we want to talk about what coverages you need to kind of start it, and really what to look for and information that you need to give on your insurance policy.
And that's a great point you bring up there, Kyle. Obviously, we know that you can't haul loads. You can't factor unless you have insurance. It all kind of starts there. So from a coverage standpoint, from an insurance standpoint, what is the FMCSA looking for? What do they say you have to have as a brand new business? What do brokers and shippers say you have to have? Well, primarily, and for starters, they're going to say you're going to need to have a minimum of $750,000 in your automobile liability coverage. In layman's terms, that's going to cover you for damages done to others. Majority of the time, we're going to see businesses go with $1 million in automobile liability coverage. $750 is the minimum. It will get your authority active, but to give yourself the best opportunity to do business with all of the brokers and shippers out there, $1 million is what we typically
We're going
see.
to recommend that pretty much from the start. I think
Absolutely.
It's worth the whatever extra additional premium that you'd have to pay to get that.
Absolutely. And keep in mind too, with your automobile liability premium, your operational radius is going to dictate some of those premiums. So just be aware of that, whether your radius is going to be unlimited or you're a local to intermediate type of business, that will play a factor in those overall annual premiums. Up next, obviously, you're going to need some cargo coverage, your motor truck cargo coverage. That's going to cover the stuff inside of the trailer, on top of the trailer, whether you're a drive-in, reefer, flatbed, step deck, Conestoga, hopper bottom, whatever the case may be, you're going to have motor truck cargo coverage. So at the end of the day, what's important with cargo coverage? What do I need to know? Okay, well, it's important for you to know about the exclusions within your cargo coverage. It's important to know what's my towing and cleanup limit. Those are all questions you should be asking your agent, and you should be asking us, because those are all pieces of information that are very important in the event of a loss. And let's be honest, insurance exists because claims are inevitable. So we want to make sure that the insurance policies that you're purchasing and that you're spending a lot of hard-earned money on are aligned with what you're actually looking for. Up next, next to the kind of motor truck cargo coverage is going to be physical damage coverage. Now, liability and cargo, those are going to be the ones that you have to have. The physical damage coverage, that's going to be an optional coverage for you. So we recommend that you purchase the physical damage coverage. Obviously, if you have a lost payee, if you're leasing the equipment, you're probably going to be required to have some form of physical damage coverage, whether that's through our agency or whether that's through a bobtail or non-trucking policy that you may have on the side. Ultimately, at the end of the day, when you're driving down the road, a deer could run in front of you, a telephone pole could fall on your truck. So those types of situations are completely out of your control. So you want to make sure that you're absolutely covered from a comprehensive and collision standpoint. Now to backtrack a little bit on the cargo piece, let's say you are a reefer operation. Very, very, very important that you're making sure that your agent is including reefer breakdown coverage, because we've seen it quite often where there is a reefer operation, they don't have the reefer breakdown coverage, it can put you in a really bad situation. So that's a very important question for you to ask.
When in doubt, always ask for the specifics of the policy. I think you can always go through it line by line and see what exactly you're covered for.
And I think it's important to note, Kyle, that we're here today talking about new ventures, and oftentimes you may think that's your first year in business. That new venture status, it's with you for your first 24 months in business. So ultimately, you're not really going to feel any type of relief from an overall premium standpoint until you reach that third year in business. And then you might ask yourself, well, why? Okay, well, the insurance companies, they're going to want to see data on you and your business. They're going to want to see your driving record. They're going to want to see your safety scores. They're going to want to see your losses and your IFTAs, where you're driving, how much you're driving, everything that goes with that. So we're here to make sure that the options for you as a new venture, they're going to be different for the options for you when you enter that third year. So it's making sure that, hey, we know you're going to have an audit, most cases by the FMCSA or DOT audit within the first 12 to 18 months. When you
Guaranteed
have to
going to happen for every company.
So you may not know what to do. So we've got the resources and the relationships in place to be able to help guide you and more or less hold your hand down that path to make sure that, hey, you don't get one out of service violation your first year in business. You get one out of service violation, your premiums are going to skyrocket, for lack of a better phrase, going into that second year. So all of those things, even something as simple as I've got a light bulb out, I'm driving while using a handheld device, little things like that, you may not think they're going to impact your insurance premiums, but they have very much to do with your insurance premiums. And again, like I've alluded to several times, we're here to make sure that you understand what goes into the pricing of your insurance and why insurance costs are what they are.
I think a lot, your upfront costs for starting your business, are going to be geared towards your down payment on insurance and everything like that. And it's very important, though, to not choose the cheapest option that you'll get on insurance. You really need to look at the limits and the coverages that each policy has, because each insurance company is different and each business is different too. So you need to get the insurance coverage that your business needs to operate. Don't always just choose price, and that's where we really recommend is looking at several different agents and getting out there and finding a policy that fits your business.
That's a good point, Kyle. We're going to look for previous experience. What's the year, make, model? What's the age of your equipment? Do you need physical damage coverage? What types of commodities are you hauling? What is your operational radius? Are you going to the lower 48? Are you staying close to home? What does your driving record look like? All of those variables come into play when we approach the different insurance companies on your behalf, because every insurance company, they're going to have a different appetite. There's going to be different boxes that we have to check, and we're going to make sure that when it's time to make a decision for your insurance, we've presented all options to you and made sure that we've given you a thorough explanation as to why you need this, why you don't need that. We recommend this to make sure that your business and you're able to hit the road and be adequately covered.
The insurance companies, they expect claims to happen, and they understand that things are going to come up and that you cannot control. What they're going to look at and what really affects your premiums are the things that you can control. And like kind of going back to what Beau said, it's sometimes as simple as making sure that your taillights are working. The tire pressure in your tires is up to whatever the PSI that state requires, and it's a lot of little things that you have just within your driver checks that really affect your insurance premiums. The hiring of drivers, who you're having to drive and run these loads and using the equipment that we're insuring. It's a lot of simple things that insurance companies look for which ultimately affects your premium.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, we're here to help. If we're not able to provide you with the option that you feel is best for you, we understand. But at the end of the day, if you're shopping with another agent, which you probably will be, which is okay, we always like to make sure that, again, what they're telling you is accurate, because all we see is trucking. That's all we do. So we're well versed in the trucking space. And a couple of things that are important to notate as well as you enter this new venture realm. It's an exciting time, right? You're ready to hit the road, you're ready to get up and running, you've got your unit, you've got your trailer, you're ready to get your business on the road. Keep in mind, the day you apply for your authority, the FMCSA is going to tell you have to wait 21 to 24 days before your filings can be posted. Now before then, what you may not know, we can still bind coverage for you, you just can't cross state lines. So be prepared if you've got some local opportunities. You don't have to wait that 21 to 24 day period, but we always like to recommend and have that conversation with you, because the last thing that we want to do is bind coverage for you and you can't use it. So keep that in mind as you move toward and move forward in this new venture stage of your business. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back again. Y'all be safe out there, and we look forward to doing business.